Yo, what's up everyone, this is Fosh bringing you my top 5 summer anime. Also means series that are returning, or second sequels, like season 2s are out, but I am watching most of them. But instead I'll focus on the new shows that I like, so this is my, again, top 5 summer anime 2005. So we get into this. Number 5 is Himouto Umaru-chan, which is comes from Studio Doga Kobo, which made a few shows in the past. I liked I think Engaged to Identify as one of theirs. Yeah, so it follows the story of a girl named Umaru who has a double life, almost like she's some kind of superhero, minus having all the gold powers. And I guess if you count maybe obsession of anime, manga, and video games as a superpower, then sure, why not? We throw that in there. Anyway, back to her double life, because at school she's a straight A student, and everyone kind of respects her, thinks she's awesome, thinks she's just a nice, friendly person. However, when she gets home, she transforms, and yes, I literally mean transforms into a chibi-looking, hamster-looking chick. This is what I call her anyway. Who is extremely lazy and bosses her brother around to buy her otaku, I guess to feed her otaku addictions with video games, manga, anime, and all that stuff. And for the most part, yeah, we could feel sorry for the brother who is we can easily see being taken advantage of, but I don't think the series is really about that. I think it's more about Umaru-chan kind of getting, over her double life and maybe finally opening up and telling people what she's into. I think that's what the series is trying to focus on more than anything. Besides the brother who's really, I guess, being abused and used in this situation. Which it sucks for him, but again, I think the series is more about Umaru-chan breaking out of that shell and kind of opening up to everybody, telling her, yeah, I like anime, manga, and games. Because there's another girl in this series that kind of forgot her name, but she seems to be okay with all that as far as gaming goes. Because there are a few episodes where she's even being herself, not really in disguise like Umaru-chan, who often is. But her interaction with the other girls kind of keeps things fresh instead of relying on their brother sister rom-com, whatever abusive thing that they got going on. It's more comical between those two. I don't think it's ever going to get to Oriyumo levels where the sister is actually in love with the brother. Thankfully, they are not doing that in this series, and Umaru-chan doesn't see her brother in that light ever. She just uses her cuteness to kind of get what she wants. And again, I don't think it's really about that. I think it's more about her getting friends into that. And also, this is super hilarious. I mean, I haven't seen an episode that has not made me laugh so far, and I've seen, I think, up to like 5 or 6 episodes so far, and it's pretty solid so far. I like what they're doing. And so yeah, the series will have you laughing a lot. I can highly recommend it. But I can do see people being turned off by this series if you don't like the fact that the brother really doesn't have a backbone. He's not going to step up to his sister and tell her no. Instead, he gives in every week. But again, I just don't feel that's what the series is aiming for. I think it's more about Umaru-chan herself. Number 4 would be Charlotte. PA Works and Jin Maiden made another anime. Yes, a famous writer that brought us Such Hits as Air, Planted, Angel Beats, Count On, and Little Busters brings us this new Charlotte, which is a surprise to me about teens with superpowers. But the powers aren't really all that fantastic, since each power is a downside, such as use power to jump bodies. It's only a few seconds. And Now's ability to appear invisible to one target at a time. But I won't go into all the powers of every character because some of them, again, I don't really feel any power in this series is the most amazing thing ever. Most of them are kind of crap if you think about it. But yeah, and the main plot is basically gotta catch them all, which is now forming a team that seeks out superpowered kids to tell them to stop using their powers because she had first-hand experience of scientists, finding out that her brother had powers. After, I think, her family, apparently what they said, her family sold out her brother, and scientists started using him, and they tried to weaponize his power, which was like sound power, or whatever he had. But yeah, but he went crazy, and, she's trying to look out for the other kids that, I guess, when adolescence, power comes out, and that's when they develop their abilities. Which is a lot like X-Men, and the X-Men storyline. A lot of the teenagers don't really become mutants or have powers until they hit their puberty, basically. So that's around the time middle school, high school, around those years. So they're starting to develop power. So now's goal now is to tell these kids that have powers to stop using them, unless you want to be, taken apart by scientists. So she's got a lot to, I guess, her personal feelings on that. She has a lot to get over. But, and I also like Jermaine's Passport. Charlotte blends emotional and humor scenes very well, but most people would say, his writing style, they hate it or they like it. It depends on the person, really. I mean, but most people would say, been there, done that with his past shows. Again, like the shows I listed before in the beginning, that a lot of them, they're funny in some spots, and they do get serious and dramatic. And I think he's a good writer at that. Maybe he's not the one doing it all 100%, but I think he knows how a story can flow to make things not, hum and dumb and dramatic all the time. But I will say the past episode, I think episode 6, things are getting a little dramatic. I won't spoil what's going on, but yeah, things are getting a little, WTF, I would say, for most. And so yeah. But also with Jim Maiden, if you've seen his past works, you kind of know what you're getting into. So you really can't complain if you've watched all his stuff and you find some of them to be okay. Yeah, are they the best written? No. I mean, he does have flaws. Every writer, I think, has issues with certain things. But yeah, so for the most part, it doesn't get heavy until a little bit later. I would say, for the most part, it's pretty lighthearted up to episode 6, and things get a little serious. Number 3 would be Monster Musume, which is a weird series, but like I said, if you told me years ago that series about half human, half monster girls was a thing, I would have laughed at you, because as far as monster girls go for me, my exposure would be maybe as far as like To Love Ru, which I know they aren't monsters, but they're aliens. But I mean, they have demonic looking tails. You may as well call them demons or whatever. But Momo, Lala, and Nana, again, that series were kind of monsters for me. But this one is actually monsters in the literal term. But yeah, when the series was announced, I was kind of curious because I've seen it on Tumblr all the time. So I checked out the manga, and I was kind of hooked, to be honest with you. I read the first maybe a handful of chapters and found it to be pretty entertaining. Yeah, it's your typical ecchi, borderline hentai. However, the first even the episodes come out, the episodes set up this world that almost some of the humans are being, a little bit of racist stuff going on here, racism, because the monsters really aren't welcome in most places. I mean, a lot of the humans don't really like them. But so yeah, I guess the government had done this agreement that the monster girls can start, living with the humans in the real world and all this stuff, as long as they, I guess, live with a host family. So we have the main character, his name is Himouto, and he has a house that is accommodating to all these monster girls. And for the first, I think, 5 or 6 episodes is more about the monster of the week. I think by episode 1 you meet Mia, she's like a snake. You meet Pappy next second episode, she's like a harpy. Third episode you meet Centaur, she's a centaur, obviously. And then 4th episode we meet Shu, I think it's 4 or 5. One of the two. At 4 we meet Shu, she's like a slime. And then in episode 6 I think we have met the mermaid. And each of them have this weird thing about them. Mia's like this stay-at-home wife character. Pappy's the I guess, little sister type character. Centaura is more of a noble soul. She's like, most people compare her to Saber, and she pretty much is Saber from Fate Stay Night in this series. And then you have Shu, which is the, I guess, second cute character, but she's maybe she's the pet of the group because everyone's kind of taking care of her, or maybe the baby of the group. But she doesn't really speak English or speak any Japanese or anything, so she's kind of slow on most of that. But she interacts with all the girls. She's more clingy, I would say, because she's slime. So that's one thing with her. Then you have the mermaid. I kind of forget her name, but she is a character that is obsessed with tragedy. So she wants a tragic romance. So And when she's introduced, Mia and her kind of have they butt heads a lot, but those two kind of get along after a little bit later, realizing that she doesn't really have interest in the main guy, but she wants to get with him if it's going to be a tragic romance between her and him. But we'll see how that works. But so yeah, so all the characters kind of fighting for his affection, and it's a harem, yes. So you don't kind of know what you're getting into if you've seen any other past harems. Like I said, To Love Ru is the best example for me because that's kind of a fun harem. They don't take things too serious, but even with Monster Musume, they're not being serious. Aside from the plot, you won't see much depth past first episode. I kind of wanted them to explore that a little bit more about why the humans don't like the monsters. They're not going to, unfortunately. I think it's more about all the characters, and I think soon we'll meet the spider chick, and I've heard all kinds of things about her. And she's very popular. She's the funnest character of the group, I would say, for most people. But I haven't read much about her. And if I had to pick a favorite girl from the series, just a aside for this episode, it's a tie between Shu and Poppy. With those two characters, I just like the characters that are rambunctious and crazy and fun. I don't really care too much for Mia or the mermaid or the Centaura or any of those characters because they're just not. It's not about them not sexy enough. They don't appeal to me personally. Personally, I like the characters that have a little more fun and have again they're just being crazy. But I'm pretty sure when the spider comes and they have all the girls assembled finally, there will be rage wars and all this. Who is the best girl? Which is what Monster Musume is going to be anyway. Number 2 would be SHIMONETA. I don't know how to say that word, but that one's a fun series. It's a world where very words are banned. You can't say any sexual jokes or anything like that. And yeah, the plot around SHIMONETA is set in a timeline where I guess normal people wear these these collars that detect any immoral thoughts or any sexual urges. But in this world, it seems that the majority of the people don't know about sex or what the terms are and all that stuff like that. So they don't really understand. And it's up to I guess Ayami is the main character. She also has a double life where she goes to school and she's this upright student, but when no one's looking or when no one's paying attention to her, she's very perverted. That's one thing she really likes. She likes perverted jokes and sexual things, all that stuff, and she's very open to all that. But yeah, but we have her, and the main guy gets kind of roped into her little terrorist thing that she is, trying to get the word out that this is wrong, this is bad, you guys are oppressing everybody, we shouldn't be living in this kind of world. So yeah, she's got kind of a weird moral, real weird goals in mind that she wants the whole world to open up and not be so scared of anything sexual. So that's what she wants. But yeah, so she's basically, they call it terrorism. That's what they're doing in the series. They're terrorizing the students to get them to open up their eyes and say, oh, this is wrong. So, but yeah, so it's set in the world like that, which is very weird that Okuma, he's the main guy that gets pulled into her little scheme of the things, and various other characters also get pulled into that. But for the most part, I would say it's a fun series. If you like shows like SYD, if you don't know what that is, then maybe look at it, you can search it up. But it's a sort of similar show to this, where every couple minutes is a sexual gag thrown in as a hilarious moment, just random thrown in there. So, but yeah, so I would say with this series, definitely wear headphones if you're watching by yourself. Don't watch with anyone else. If you want to, that's fine. But this show, again, it's very, compared to Monster Musume, this one tends to be more crude than that show. But we'll see how far they go. But it's a fun series. For me, I like it because there's so many characters that are not really relatable, but they're just fun to watch. And there's a girl named Anna, which a lot of people don't really like how they're portraying her as this obsessive girl who wants to get with Okuma no matter what happens. And a lot of people kind of find her to be maybe too extreme for her own good, but I think it's funny to see. I've never seen a character that aggressive and that obsessed. Maybe in a couple series back in the day, but with Anna, she seems to be more into it. So it's just crazy. But yeah, that's a fun one. But yeah, again, watch headphones. And yeah. Number 1, which I don't think most people would be surprised, knowing me, knowing my taste, but Gakkou Gurashi was my number 1 so far, because it's much like my first experience with Musume. It's something that got me curious, so I checked out the manga, read the first couple chapters, up to I think 20, and just was hooked. But I heard there's an anime coming out, so I decided to stop and wait. And to my surprise, when the anime started coming out, a lot of people were caught off guard by this series, let's say. Some people knew what it was, that was a zombie series. Some people did not know, and thought it was going to be a slice-of-life moe show about girls living at a school, not realizing that it actually meant something more than that. And then you have a few people that just skipped to the final reveal episode 1 that the zombies were real. And, you know, from my experience on that, I feel people who did that kind of screwed themselves. It's like, for me, the build up to that moment was really good. And yeah, again, the cute factor, the girls being very moe, very cute, especially Yuki. It can set people off that they don't want to watch something like this. That is just moe garbage. And yeah, to those people, I'll say you are correct on a certain amount level, but also, you know, not checking it out at all, you know, makes you feel that this show is very underrated. You know, a lot of people don't want to see this because they see the cover art and go, cute girls on the cover. I'm not watching this, but I don't know. For me, I get behind all that. And again, a lot of people were mad that they were lured in by the cuteness, and then found out it was zombies, and they got really mad, and almost to the point where they just don't watch anymore, because to them, they want the moe stuff. They don't want the zombie apocalypse world. And for me, I like that kind of thing, you know. And so yeah, after all that, first few episodes follow from Yuki's point of view for the most part. She is kind of, I guess, the quote-unquote main character that we spend the most time with. And with that character, she lives in this make-believe world that she doesn't believe that the zombies are real and all this stuff. In certain episodes, she calls them ghosts. But in her mind, that the world is not changed, it's back to normal. She believes that, you know, every day is rainbows and sunshine, and that she's developed this mental disorder that she just doesn't believe in the zombies. So I think that part's kind of interesting. I've never seen anime use that. Maybe some people would say Chinubio syndrome does that with certain characters where you believe they're a superhero when they're not. But this one actually shows you why this girl is like this. You know, why is she always so happy? And they explain that she's just not. She hasn't come to terms with the world right now. And for me, I think that's really awesome how they're doing that. But the other characters, you probably would say, why don't they help her? Why don't they help her realize that it's not real, that she's, you know, living in a messed up world? My defense would be that none of them have the qualifications to help her mentally get over that. Because if you try to force someone to wake up and all that, and you're not really a professional at that job, you're not going to help them. You're going to make it worse. And with the other girls, they kind of play along. Yeah, it's dangerous because Yuki can put the team in danger when they go out for resources and stuff like that. That's true, but a lot of the zombies, if you follow zombie shows or movies, like The Walking Dead has several characters that are kind of the one that you really don't want to be with, that he might get you killed. And Yuki is that kind of character that a lot of times you probably spend most time screaming at your screen that she's doing something stupid, versus the other girls who are, you know, smarter and aware of everything going around. But to me, I think that's what makes it interesting. You know, it would be boring if it was just all the girls knowing that this is a zombie world, just staying in the school all day and just hiding. That we wouldn't have a series then. But Yuki, she's not gonna probably win anyone's like for our most cool character because she's a mentally damaged character. But I think that's interesting. Again, I just like how they did that. But again, with this series, I don't think it's going to be about finding the cure or finding other survivors, even though they do find a few survivors on the way. This series is going to be more about survival. I mean, much like the Walking Dead, which is about the same thing. It's about characters surviving in this world, not finding the cure or finding a way to fix everything. It's just them trying to survive. And that's what Gakkou Gurashi is really about. So yes, my top 5 for the summer. I mean, I could have done top 10, but it's, I might get a little winded. But so yes, tell me your top 5 that you like this season. Maybe one that you think is better than what, maybe your list is better than mine, or you have reasons why you don't want to watch some of these shows like Monster Girls or SHIMONETA or Gakkou Gurashi. Again, it's all in good fun. So see you guys next week for whatever else I plan on doing. So right now I'm just mostly reviewing returning shows, Sinful Gear, GX, which is season 3, and Aquarium Logos, which is also season 3 of the Aquarium franchise. So yeah, so I'll see you guys whenever I do something else.